I often receive comments and emails from subscribers of my YouTube channel asking me how much money is needed to start option trading. Like this one. I only have $300 in my trading account. Can I still trade options? You bet you can. I'm going to show you how I started an option wheel strategy with only $300. Ready to get started? Let's make money together. I took the information and experience that I shared in my 150 videos from my YouTube channel and created a course to help people sell their first covered call. You can get free access to my course by visiting my website, coveredcallincomegeneration.com. If you're not familiar with the wheel strategy, the easiest way to describe it is that it combines two different option trading techniques. First, you sell a cash secured put, and that's followed by selling a covered call. Let's take a quick look at the option wheel strategy, starting with part 1, selling a cash secured put. The seller of a cash secured put chooses the terms and conditions of the option contract. Now, the seller will have the appropriate funds secured as collateral, and then the seller is able to place the option contract in the open market. A buyer that's interested in the option contract will actually pay the premium to the seller in order to purchase the option contract and retain the right to sell the shares of stock at an agreed upon strike price. So under the proper conditions, the buyer will get to exercise the option, and then the seller will be assigned the shares. And in order to complete this transaction, after the seller receives the shares, the seller is going to use their collateral to pay for those shares. Now let's look at the other half of an option wheel strategy is part 2, selling a covered call. Now that the seller directly owns 100 shares of stock ABC Incorporated, they can sell a covered call option contract using those shares as collateral. Now an interested buyer that wants to purchase the option contract will pay the premium to the seller for the option contract. And if the option contract gets exercised, then the seller's shares that were reserved as collateral will be assigned to the buyer, and in return, the seller gets paid for those shares. So that was a quick look at the two activities that make up a wheel strategy. First, selling a cash secure put, and that's followed by selling a covered call. One of the unique characteristics that you'll notice about the wheel strategy is that the output of one activity feeds the input of the other activity. When a seller sells a cash secure put and receives the assigned shares, the seller can then immediately turn around and use those shares as collateral to sell a covered call. Then when the shares get assigned to the buyer, covered call gets exercised, the money that the seller receives can be used as collateral for selling yet another cash secured put. And the option trader can keep repeating this process over and over again, in a rotating fashion just like a wheel. This is a popular strategy for traders such as myself that like to focus on selling cash secured puts and covered calls. I like it because it's really simple to implement, and it allows me to focus on researching and tracking a single stock for a wheel. Plus it has a high probability of profitability because I get to set the terms and conditions of the trades. So of course, I always set them up in my favor. Now it's time to share my real-world example of an option wheel strategy with my small account that only has $300. So I'm going to start my wheel strategy by selling a cash secured put. So before I sell a cash secure put, I always like to research companies and their stocks because my goal is to have the shares assigned to me, so I want to pick a stock that I want to own. So for me, that means identifying a company with good fundamentals, a strong chart, and a potential for future growth. And the easiest way for me to do this is to use my one-button stock screener. Be sure to get my free one-button stock screener. It's the tool I use to help me pick stocks for option trades. You can download it at my website, simpleoptiontrading.com/one-button stock screener. So on May 28th of 2021, I sold a cash secure put for the Uranium Energy Corporation, stock symbol UEC. Now looking at the option chain, I selected the June 18th, 2021 expiration date, which would make the length of this option contract 21 days. I selected the $3 strike price, which at the time paid me 15 cents per share in premium. I submitted my sell order, and it was placed in the open market. Now later that day, my option contract was filled and purchased by a buyer that agreed to the terms. I'll open up my account history so that we can take a look at the transaction record. I sold the cash secure put for stock symbol UEC with a $3 strike price and an expiration date of June 18th of 2021. Now I submitted this order on May 28th, and the order was filled later that day at 12:18 p.m. Pacific Time. Now the limit price, or the premium being paid for this option contract, was 15 cents. And when this option contract got filled, I received a $15 premium payment, which showed up as a credit in my trading account. I created a small worksheet so that we can track the transactions of this option wheel strategy more easily. Follow along as I discuss the first entry in the worksheet, which represents the cash secure put option that I just sold. On May 28th, I sold a cash secure put for stock symbol UEC. The option contract had an expiration date of June 18th, which meant the length of this option contract was 21 days. I selected the $3 strike price, which at the time paid me 15 cents per share. So when this option contract got filled, I received $15 as the premium payment, which was credited immediately to my trading account. That $15 that I received represents a 5% gain based upon the amount of money I had reserved as my collateral. Here's a daily chart for stock symbol UEC. I'm going to focus in on the expiration date of June 18th. And just as a quick reminder, the strike price was $3 for this cash secure put that I sold. So on June 18th, the closing price of symbol UEC was $2.89. So this option finished in the money, which means that the buyer executed the option contract and the shares were assigned to me. And so now I have direct ownership of those shares and I can use them for the second half of the wheel strategy, and that's using those shares to sell a covered call. Now that I've sold the cash secure put and was able to have the shares assigned to me, I now have direct ownership of 100 shares of Uranium Energy Corporation. And because I do own 100 shares, I can now use them as collateral for selling a covered call, which I will demonstrate and share in part 2 of this mini video series about making money from the option wheel strategy using a small account. So coming up in part 2, get ready to see the second half of the option wheel strategy in action. I plan to utilize my newly acquired shares of symbol UEC and use them to sell a covered call. But there's a twist. I'm actually going to double the amount of money I received using a special technique called the hey wait, you'll have to come back and watch part 2 of this video series to find out what I'm actually doing to double my income. Also, you'll find out if I'm able to get a 50% return from my investment. Are you interested in getting access to my weekly stock picks? If you like the information about my stock picks, then consider joining my Patreon, where I share exclusive videos of my stock picks every week that I'm going to be using for profitable trades. I also include my research notes, stock analysis, and trading strategies for every stock I pick to watch for that week. And of course, all my videos posted on my Patreon are ad-free. There's one last thing before I end this video. Now, making profits and generating an income from option trading is a great thing, but keep in mind that all gains made from trading are considered income and are subject to applicable tax considerations. So every month, I save a portion of the profits that I earned in order to pay for my federal and state taxes. So please consult with your CPA, licensed financial advisor, and or tax preparer regarding the tax liabilities for your unique situation. If you're still watching this video, I just want to say thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I also want to wish you good luck and lots of success with all of your trades.